Hi guys, I'm going to try and keep this information short and sweet and try and compact as much information into this video as possible. So for those of you who haven't kept up to speed with the Iran-Israel situation, here's the rolling update. Iran allegedly sent a drone into Israel from Syria. Israel shot it down and attacked the base it came from with F-16s. One of the F-16s was shot down. Israel sent out another squadron, this time targeting several Iranian bases in Syria, killing several Iranians in the process. The Iranians vowed revenge. Then the chemical attacks took place right after Trump said he would pull troops from Syria. This chemical attack conveniently gave him a reason to stay, for the troops to stay in Syria. Israel then launched an attack on Iranian bases in Syria, and France, the UK, and the USA launched strikes also. During these strikes, Russia moved fighter jets and bombers to Iran and brought more military equipment over to Syria as well, including possibly the S-300 air defense system, which Russia then said if Israel attacked those systems, there would be catastrophic consequences. And Israel replied saying, if the air defense systems attack us, we'll attack it or we'll destroy it. So, basically a tit-for-tat conversation between Israel and Russia there. Russia, during the chemical attacks, Russia, along with Hezbollah-backed forces, also tried to take control of a section of the Euphrates River, which is biblically significant. Then later on, Israel struck a weapons depot in Syria, and that was with the big explosion that was shown in the video when they struck the weapons depot, possibly holding missiles there, I believe, and it belonged to Iran, and they killed even more Iranians at that time. Iran once again vowed revenge. Israel then claimed Iran was lying about its nuclear weapons program after Israeli intelligence officers stole thousands of documents from Iran and showed us that PowerPoint presentation, Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel lied. Shortly afterwards, like a week, I think it was, or maybe a couple of days, Israel then said they saw worrying movements in Syria by Iran, and this was prior to, on the same day as Donald Trump was due to announce his decision on the Iran nuclear deal. At that time, they put the Golan Heights on alert and ordered public bomb shelters to be opened. And then Donald Trump announced that he was withdrawing the United States from the Iran nuclear deal. And an hour later, Israel attacked Iranian bases in Syria again for the third time, at least while I'm counting, probably more. And they killed 8 or 9 more Iranians. Netanyahu then went to Moscow to speak with Putin, while a large Syrian cargo plane carrying supplies from Iran arrived in Damascus after the Israeli attack. So according to ISK, the IL-76T cargo plane of the Syria Arab Air Forces 585th Transport Squadron of the 29th Air Brigade left Tehran's Mehbad Airport on Tuesday night and arrived in Damascus shortly after the alleged Israeli attack. The IL-76A flew from Tehran and then directly over Iraqi airspace before arriving in Damascus tonight. The Eruption 76T is a heavy lifter aircraft that was made to carry heavy cargo long distances. It is used by Syria to transport supplies from Iran and other countries. So clearly Iran responding not so much with the rhetoric, but with military movements in terms of bringing more supplies in from Iran into Syria. Now, in relation to the Iran nuclear deal, the European Union has moved to protect the 2015 Iran nuclear agreement by vowing to take steps to immunize European firms doing business with Tehran from any US sanctions. France also said on Wednesday it would do everything possible to protect European businesses a day after Donald Trump announced the US would exit the Iran deal, agreed with other major powers in 2015, and imposed the highest level of economic sanctions against Iran. Now, so what I see here is Europe is basically thwarting the sanctions that Donald Trump has said is going to be imposed upon Iran after the withdrawal of the US from the nuclear deal. that would basically stop, if businesses still wanted to trade with Iran, what Europe is looking to do is to protect them from the sanctions that would be placed upon them for doing business with Iran. That basically makes the sanctions null and void. They won't really mean much, because Iran can basically buy anything America makes from elsewhere or from other sources. And since the nuclear deal would still be in place for 5 of the other countries, being China, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, this leaves only one option for the US and Israel. If sanctions aren't going to work, and they believe that the Iran nuclear deal is a bad deal and that Iran has been lying about it, it's military action. Now, I don't know if that is going to be a direct attack on Iran, or, responding to them in Syria, but it's a high possibility. And it's no coincidence that Russia sent fighter jets and bombers there during the strikes that took place on April the 13th/14th. So now, Russia, after Netanyahu went to Russia to meet with Putin, after he struck more Iranian targets in Syria today, I believe it was, or possibly yesterday now, if it's gone past 12, Netanyahu is saying that Putin is basically suggesting that Russia is unlikely to limit Israel's military actions in Syria. So for now, it appears that Russia is sitting back. Its concern doesn't appear to be Israel. I think it's just there to counter the US and its interests. But of course, all of this is just part of the show. It's put on for us, the audience. And things just keep on evolving. So we'll see coming up, May 10th, May 11th, May 12th. That was the date that the Iran nuclear deal, the deadline was for. Now that's not happening. Something else may take its place. And obviously we've got the other things I've mentioned. Which brings me to Hawaii. The volcano continues to erupt. 14 lava vents have opened up so far. So this is a proper eruption going on, and accompanied with those eruptions are earthquakes. And I'm expecting that a large earthquake is due to happen soon. And possibly this scene in the iPad Goat video, which depicts the volcano on the apple erupting and the lava spewing out next to Obama, who's from Hawaii, where the volcano is erupting, moves on to split in half, which, if we're to believe that these reports are suggesting an explosive eruption is feared imminently, then it could be such an explosive eruption that it splits the volcano, or a piece of it breaks off, and essentially the island is a volcano, so that would be a piece of the island breaking off or splitting. And we've already seen the 14 lava vents that have opened up, and more opening up every day. The ground is unstable, so it's possible that a large eruption, a large earthquake, could possibly split the land, or break off a piece of the island. That would definitely generate a tsunami. I don't know how big, but any large amount of land going into the ocean would force the water up and into a tsunami-like roll across the Pacific. It's interesting that we've got the 2 and the 1 seeds. We've interpreted this as possibly 21 before because of the 2 and the 1, obviously, but it could also be backwards, 1 and 2. Maybe May the 12th, maybe, possibly for this situation. I don't know. And if this situation that's depicted here in this video is what's happening now with Kilauea, then we've got the reference to the 5 and 10 down here, 15. Again, a couple of subscribers have pointed out May 15th as well, and I don't discount it, because obviously you've got May 14th and it could be the 15th somewhere else in the world. So definitely maybe something to pay attention to. Things seem to be happening in May. This announcement, the strikes from Israel, we've been looking at all those things potentially looking to happen. The volcano we was looking at to happen, that's now happening. Now looking at a giant, well, not a giant, a big earthquake to happen, and a big tsunami as well. Possibly the volcano erupting and splitting, generating that tsunami, which is what this sea could be. As you can see, it's got this jagged edge, which could be the front of the wave. You know, if you turn the image upside down, that's a tsunami wave. And it's got the number 15 on top of it, so it could be, you know, May the 15th. This could be May the 12th. I don't know, it's just an interpretation, and I just want to present it. The last thing I want to talk about is the internet net neutrality rules. It doesn't affect us over here in the UK. Our ISPs won't be slowing down or blocking access to any of our sites as of yet, but this is again, it's one of those things that you should watch out for, because should it be successful, it would be rolled out, you know, across the world eventually. The only reason I bring this report to you guys is because it would affect things like YouTube and Google and all the other little sites that we use to get our information. The ISPs, your internet service providers, could slow down your access to those sites or block them completely. At the moment, there's a petition going on. You can go online and you can sign up. I don't know how much of a difference it would make, because obviously if it's all in the cards, then no amount of protest is going to change what's going to happen. But, you know, that's up to you to decide whether you want to do that or not. But I just want you to be aware that the internet, as we know it, is under attack. If this goes through, access to sites could be blocked or slowed down to such a degree that it's basically rendered useless. Hi guys, so just after I made the video and was about to upload it, news reports started coming in that Iran has fired rockets at Israel, 20 of them. Iron Dome has intercepted some. Some 20 rockets were fired at Israel military bases by Iranian forces in southern Syria just after midnight on Thursday. That is today, the 10th of May, which is one of the watch days. With some of the incoming missiles being intercepted by the Iron Dome defense system, the army said, amid sky-high tensions on the northern border. There were no reports of Israeli casualties in the attack. An army spokesman said damage was caused to Israeli military bases, but that it was limited. The Israeli army said the missile barrage was carried out by members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. This appeared to be one of the few instances of a direct attack on Israel by Iran, which generally operates through proxies. So they are now responding for the attacks that Israel have been taking out on them in Syria. I expected this to come a little bit later, but it's coming a bit early, but it has been expected and it's happening now. Israel is definitely going to respond to this, and it's going to escalate. To what level, I don't know, but you guys, we're in the timeline and this is happening. I don't think it can be said anymore that, you know, this is something that we shouldn't be looking at, or that we're wrong. We're right in some aspect, and this is happening in this time frame, in this year. And just as I was talking about the volcano earlier in the report, another report just came out again that an explosion has taken place at Kilauea volcano, and there's fears that there's more to come. So the USGS are saying that there's been a fairly large explosion, and it may be the first of a series of large explosions. So again, it's possible that these explosions could lead to, you know, big earthquakes, which then spread out and, you know, could affect the west coast of the United States. Sometimes, you know, it's easy to forget, as I said before, that Hawaii is a part of the United States, the last of the 50 states to be added, and possibly one that could be affected by this volcano. We'll see, but you know, keeping an eye on these two stories that are, you know, linked to everything else. This is probably the most pressing right now, because Israel will respond to this. And will Iran respond? Will Syrian air defenses get involved? Will Russia get involved with the US? Is this the start of things to come, or is this just, you know, another little dig in the chain of events? considering the timeline, it's possible that this could escalate into something much bigger. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless.